OxyShred is sold in 3 main versions across North America: non-stim, hardcore, and ultra concentrated. I've laid out how their ingredients compare in the chart here, with green showing ingredients they share and red showing what's missing. In this review, we're narrowing the focus to OxyShred Non-Stim and taking a closer, evidence-based look at its ingredients. How effective are they for weight and fat loss? L-carnitine is an amino acid naturally found in red meat and plays a role in energy production and fat metabolism in muscle tissue. It's been studied for its ability to modestly improve exercise capacity and, in some cases, produce very small reductions in body weight. Acetyl L-carnitine is a modified version that more readily crosses into the brain and appears to have a stronger effect on the nervous system. Because of this, it's been researched more for brain-related conditions like neuropathy and cognitive function. L-carnitine and acetyl L-carnitine are often treated as interchangeable, but they're not the same. For example, studies suggest that when it comes to weight loss, L-carnitine may have a slight effect, while acetyl L-carnitine generally does not. In practical terms, acetyl L-carnitine is likely more useful for nerve health than for boosting metabolism or fat loss. Chromium is commonly marketed as a blood sugar regulator, which leads many people to assume it helps with weight loss. The reality is more limited. In people with insulin resistance, such as those with diabetes or PCOS, chromium can slightly lower blood sugar levels and may result in a very modest weight loss, typically around ½ kilo to a kilo over 3 to 4 months. However, if you don't have insulin resistance, studies consistently show that chromium has little to no meaningful effect on body weight. For the average person, it's unlikely to do much. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. Conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, is a fatty acid derived from linoleic acid and is often promoted as a fat-burning supplement. Research does suggest CLA can lead to small reductions in body fat, although the average loss is about 2 to 3 pounds over 6 to 12 months. Overall, the effect is minor and often doesn't translate into real weight loss. On top of that, effective doses are measured in grams. OxyShred simply doesn't contain anywhere near enough CLA for those small benefits to apply. Garcinia Cambogia is a tropical fruit extract frequently advertised as an appetite suppressant. Some clinical trials do show modest weight loss, but only at very high doses, around 5 grams per day, standardized to 50% of its active compound, HCA. Lower doses haven't been shown to outperform placebo. Since supplements like OxyShred are extremely unlikely to deliver anywhere close to that amount, the real-world impact is probably negligible. Grapefruit seed extract comes from the seed, pulp, and membranes of grapefruit. One small study found that eating fresh grapefruit daily led to slight weight loss in people with obesity. However, this involved the equivalent of about 1.5 whole grapefruits per day, not a small extract dose. There's no evidence that the tiny amounts of grapefruit seed extract found in OxyShred can replicate this effect. Guggul, derived from the resin of the tree native to parts of South Asia, has been studied for weight loss as well. Unfortunately, clinical trials show that taking Guggul does not reduce body weight in overweight or obese individuals when compared to placebo. Huperzine A is an extract from plants like Chinese club moss and works by increasing levels of acetylcholine, a chemical important for memory and attention. Because of this mechanism, it has shown some benefit in people with Alzheimer's disease, where it can modestly improve cognition and behavior. However, in healthy adults without cognitive impairment, acetylcholinesterase inhibitors like Huperzine A appear to offer little to no benefit. There's also no evidence it contributes to fat loss or weight reduction. Inulin is a prebiotic fiber typically extracted from chicory root and helps support beneficial gut bacteria. In people with prediabetes, studies show that daily inulin intake can lead to small amounts of weight loss. But there's a catch. These studies use very large doses, often around 30 grams per day. Inulin works by adding bulk, improving fullness, and blunting blood sugar spikes, which requires substantial amounts, usually mixed into food or drink. The tiny quantities found in capsule-based supplements like OxyShred are far too small to produce these effects. L-Glutamine is another amino acid often added to supplements, with the hope that it will improve performance or aid weight loss. Research doesn't support either claim. Studies in athletes show no improvements in exercise performance, and clinical trials in overweight individuals find no meaningful changes in body weight or BMI. L-Tyrosine is also frequently included for similar reasons, but again, the evidence doesn't support weight loss or improved physical performance. Studies show that taking tyrosine before exercise does not improve strength, endurance, or output compared to a placebo. It may help with mental focus under stressful conditions, such as intense exercise or cold exposure, but these effects occur at doses of several grams per day, far more than what any OxyShred product provides. Mango seed extract is another ingredient found in OxyShred Non-Stim. These are standard mango seed extracts, which are very different from African mango seed extracts, the version sometimes used in weight loss supplements, despite its already questionable effectiveness. While there is some weak and inconsistent evidence suggesting African mango seed extract might support weight management, there is no evidence at all showing that regular mango seed extracts help with weight or fat loss. Olive leaf extract is included as well. Most people are familiar with olive oil for its health benefits, but olive leaves and fruits have also been used medicinally. A small clinical trial on people with metabolic syndrome found that olive leaf extract improved a few markers of metabolic health. However, it did not improve body weight or most other metabolic outcomes. On top of that, the doses used in studies were far higher than what you'd get from any OxyShred product, making meaningful effects unlikely. Raspberry ketones were once wildly popular in the weight loss world, especially after being promoted on the Dr. Oz show over a decade ago. Since then, the hype has largely vanished, and for good reason. Raspberry ketones simply don't work. Early excitement came from lab and animal studies, showing that raspberry ketones could influence fat cells in mice. Interest was further fueled because raspberry ketones look chemically similar to synephrine, another dubious stimulant also used in weight loss. Despite all the buzz, there were never any convincing human studies to back these claims. As a result, when people tried them and saw no results, their popularity collapsed. Taurine is a naturally occurring amino acid found in foods like meat, seafood, and eggs. It's often added to supplements aimed at improving exercise performance, but the research is mixed. Several studies show that taurine taken before endurance exercise, such as cycling, does not improve performance. Even higher doses, around 5 grams per day for a full week, fail to improve muscle taurine levels or energy use in trained athletes. Larger reviews suggest that doses between 1 and 6 grams per day may provide small endurance benefits for some people, but it's unclear who benefits and under what conditions. What is clear is that these effects only show up at multi-gram doses. The small amount included in OxyShred is unlikely to have any meaningful impact. Something unique to OxyShred Non-Stim and not found in the other OxyShred formulas is an ingredient called theacrine. Theacrine is a natural compound found in some teas and coffee plants, and it's closely related to caffeine, just a bit gentler. Because of that, it's often advertised as a way to get an energy boost without the shaky, jittery feeling that caffeine can cause. The downside is that this, quote, smoother effect also means it doesn't appear to be as strong as caffeine when it comes to improving workout performance. In fact, research doesn't show much benefit at all. One small clinical trial in men found that taking theacrine before exercise did not improve strength, power, or endurance compared to a placebo. Another study in soccer players showed the same pattern. Those who took theacrine did not feel the exercise was any easier or less tiring than those who took a placebo. So is OxyShred Non-Stim effective? Essentially, this product looks like a stripped-down version of OxyShred Ultra Concentrated, with most stimulants removed. Caffeine, green coffee extract, and bitter orange are taken out, and theacrine is added in an attempt to preserve some stimulating effect. Unfortunately, research suggests theacrine does very little for exercise performance, and likely nothing for weight or fat loss. L-carnitine is also added, which could be helpful, but only if it's used at an effective dose, which is unknown. Overall, OxyShred Non-Stim is unlikely to be too effective for either energy or weight loss. Without stimulants, the formula leans heavily on non-stimulant ingredients like L-carnitine, CLA, and Garcinia Cambogia, all of which require fairly large doses to have even modest effects. Most signs point to these being included in amounts that are too low to matter. The use of proprietary blends where exact doses aren't disclosed also makes it impossible to know what you're really getting. OxyShred Non-Stim costs around $30 for a month's supply using 1 scoop per day. If the goal were to recreate the most potentially useful parts of this supplement, you could combine Garcinia Cambogia, L-carnitine, and Taurine on your own for about $3 to $5 per ingredient per month. That puts the total at roughly $9 to $15 per month. Rating OxyShred Non-Stim by effectiveness for weight loss, I'm giving it a D. Some ingredients might help slightly, but the doses used are likely too low to be very useful. Rated by cost, I'm giving it a C. The few worthwhile ingredients can be purchased individually for much less. Rated for safety, I'm giving it a C. There are a number of ingredients that have the potential to interfere with medications, but because they mix in so many of them, it's hard to fully untangle all the interactions. Overall rating, I'm giving a D. I would not recommend it at all. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Young. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.